Good afternoon again, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good week so far. We are, well, almost the midway through the week actually as well. And yesterday, completed my Mod 1 training for my motorcycle test. It's the first of two sections of motorcycle training. So, very excited. Next week, potentially, providing I pass Mod 2, I'll be able to ride my new motorcycle, which has been secured in the garage for the last 2 months. But in the meantime, here we are back on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today, heading out of Belgrade, and we're flying across Eastern Europe to Rijeka. Flight time of around 1 hour 30 minutes or so, and we're going to be buzzing along at only 16,000 feet, which is really low. But that's because we're back in, after quite a little bit of time actually, a little bit of a fair break. We are back in the ATR72-600 for the first time in quite a while. So we're going to be low and slow throughout the day. Andy, awesome. How's he finding the training? I felt quite sorry. I was discussing it in the members section of our Discord yesterday. I felt quite sorry for some of the other chaps that were there. They'd chosen a different school, and we were kind of watching them share motorbikes, and there we were on our brand new Triumph Trident 660s, ready to go, one each. Myself, it was 2-to-1 training ratio with the school I'm using, with an incredible instructor, and some of the other instructors didn't really seem to care. So one chap had his third go, and he had failed for the first time. Felt quite sorry for him. And then there was another lad as well who failed in front of us with a ride which actually looked quite good, but he didn't do his lifesavers before pulling off every time. So for that, he got 5 minors and failed. But here we are, Air Serbia, Alpha Lima X-Ray, the ATR72-600. Very exciting though. It looks like somebody's going bold. They're going in the DC-6 today. Very exciting. Delta Tango, good morning to you. No worries at all. Badger, hello buddy. Zato, commentator living on a player. Doc, hello to you as well. And David, good afternoon to you too, Roy. And everyone else wherever you are in the world tuning in. It's been about 2 months since we last flew this, and it is great fun. One of my favourite aircraft in MSFS, to be fair. But I think it's got a couple of weird quirks, hasn't it, from what I understand, with the world update or the sim update from a few weeks ago, roughly. Some hydraulic issue when you idle the engine or something like that. So we're going to have a little look at that today throughout the flight, see what's causing it, or maybe if it trips us up in some way. So, we'll dive into the flight deck. All we've done is set fuel, and we've set some payload as well. We haven't done our flight plan yet, but I've pressed the import OFP button there. So on the payload tab, there we are. The little crosshair should be up here somewhere. Oh well, I'll ignore that. Anyway. Ooh. Well, that's interesting. The tablets froze. David says, don't let the engines idle too long, but it doesn't matter as long as you remember to use the auxiliary pump before using the prop brake. We might struggle with... I can't get on the aircraft tab. I can't feed the profile in here. I might have to restart this, just restart the flight. Yeah. Is that... I can't remember before if that's an issue with the ATR or not, but that's pretty crap if it is, because I've pressed a few buttons and it's crashed on us already. Yeah, it's completely balked out. We don't have one on that side, do we? So it's not like we can zip across. Yeah, the whole thing's frozen out, hasn't it? Right, you know what? Screw it. We're going to restart the flight. Bloody Microsoft Flight Simulator. Honestly. Thankfully, we'd not made much of a start with this, so all good. What we're going to do is fire it back up again. Where were we? External power on, wild elec on for external. We'll pop those on as well. We'll leave the probes off for now. Emergency exits armed. No devices on. We'll pop the logo light and the nav lights on. We'll put the wing lights on as well because we have hotel mode that will start up very shortly. Just one less button to click, isn't it? Right, where were we? Going to make sure this matches up with our sim brief stuff. So, set fuel, set payload. If I click that, but then go to the payload tab, it doesn't look like it's actually loaded anything. Well, it kind of has up there, but it doesn't make any sense. It's odd saying you don't click on the text on the EFB payload because it freezes you. You load up using load aircraft. What do you mean? That doesn't make sense. Because load aircraft is on the payload tab. Which is what we did earlier on as well. But just before the stream started, this is the bit I configured. Anyway, let's reset this. So 20 0 6 5. Gross weight 22688. Fuel 2653. That'll do. I'm going to press set takeoff trim now, and then I'm going to bug out of that page so we can't have any problems. So we're quite heavy today. We have got a maximum takeoff weight of 23 tons, and we are 22.6 tons. So we're pretty heavy for today's flight. I'm also just going to press set flight plan. Lovely, there it is. Okie dokie. Need to set the lighting again now. That's better. Don't need that. Part brakes on. We'll clear the master caution. And then in the comms, 1228. Though I thought I'd press that one though. That's better. Surveillance, we'll set 2000. And leave it on standby. That's on automatic. We can have a little look at nav and everything else in a moment. Jetty flies, hello to you. Have we got any ATC? No. So we're on Unicorn 122.8. That's on TO. Let's pull the METAR. Well, it's in the live chat if we use the command, but actually it's here too. So QNH, rather handy, 1013. We'll squawk 2000 because we don't have any ATC. And the wind's currently 220 at 3 knots, variable between 170 and 290 degrees. A rather nice 21 degrees. I wish it was that warm in the UK. So, QNH 1013, that's here, which is what was already set. I feel like I'm going to have to get my head around a lot of this aircraft again, because we've left it so long since we last flew in the ATR that it's almost like flying it new again for the first time, so I'm looking forward to this. Let's look at the charts, just to have an idea of what we're going to be doing today. So on the left hand side of the screen, you can see there out of Belgrade, runway 12 right with a crosswind of 4 knots and a tailwind of 3 knots on the 2 VAC 3 Charlie departure, and we're heading to Rijeka, which is currently in well, it says minimal VFR, but winds 160 at 11, all the 9s. Just a few cloud there, 1,000 foot above ground, level broken 3,000, overcast 4,000, and a very small spread of 2 degrees there from the temperature and the dew point. So something for us to bear in mind when we get a bit closer to that. But the 2VAR3 Charlie is this, so initially heading outbound to 1,100 feet, maximum 230 knots. We can't achieve that in the ATR. We'll be climbing at 170 knots. So as we hit 1,100 foot, we're going to then turn southbound towards Bravo Echo 204, still maintaining 170 knots, up to 6,000, and then out through 208, 209, across to 2VAR at or above 6,000 feet, leaving Serbian airspace and heading off into Croatian airspace. A bit of a weird route today as well. If you look here, instead of going directly across, our routing is actually taking us all the way across to Zagreb, and then from Zagreb routing southwest back down towards Rijeka. Not sure why. Might be a political thing. Who knows? Avoiding maybe Bosnia-Herzegovina airspace, that sort of thing. Not too sure. We're here on the apron though, so we're going to push start with a very short taxi to 12 right, but we've got a big old displaced threshold, so we're going to push start with the nose going left, facing south easterly, and then we're going to head out to Mike, over onto Delta 2, and then we're going to line up with that big old displaced threshold there, taking off on 12 right. So nothing too complex today. It's just going to be a lot of me trying to refresh my brain to see how all of this works. 12 right, which is that one, and we go next page, 2VAR3 Charlie, execute. So what have we got? That's good. 2VAR, no discontinuities, all the way around to Rijeka. On the VNAV page, we can set 6,000 up here for now, which will then be reflected on our primary flight display. So 6,000 set. We'll do that on the way for VNAV page 2, and our performance page there is being worked in at the moment. The transition altitude here at Belgrade though is 10,000 feet, so we can amend this here. Perf in it. Cruise altitude 16,000. Flight level 160. And our weight is pre-populated. Our FinRes plus alternate fuel today from our OFP. Remember to use restore flight function, exit to main menu detected. Ah, chuffing egg. Restore state. That's New Sky. So our FinRes plus alternate is 1155. And our alternate today is Vienna, apparently. Which seems a bit far, but we'll take it, I don't mind. So, menu. That's done. That's done. That's done. ASL29 Romeo. Weight page is complete. And the perf init page is complete. Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Boarding request.
Request boarding. Ta-da! So we've got the power management button there, and I'm also going to make sure it's down here, isn't it? Where is it? Is it that one? Yep. Twiddling that little dial there so we get our route selected properly too. And I'm just going to get up a PDF set of charts for you guys. Well, not charts. My checklist. So, because I've not flown this for quite some time, we're going to be making use of that throughout the journey today, just to make sure I don't miss anything throughout our little trip. And we can use things like hotel mode as well. So, let's get that fired up in a mo. We're just going to have a little look to see what's happening with the passengers. Not that I can hear any. See any. That's a bit wild. Oh yes, it's reset my camera, hasn't it? I did think that was a bit weird. So I'm just going to try for a minute to reset our drone camera view. Cool, so we need to slow down that rotation a fair bit, don't we? We'll go for 8. So we're going to start engine number 2 in hotel mode. So with that in mind, we're going to look to our overhead panel. We're going to make sure that our wing lights are illuminated. We've finished fueling, so I'll pop the seatbelt signs on as well. That's all good. Hydraulic power's on. Where's my little checklist here? Oh yes, engine 2 hotel mode, start and perform. Of course it does. So pump 2 goes to run. Prop brake will flick up. And it's not locked because we haven't fired up the hydraulic auxiliary pump. So what we'll do is we'll turn that off, give it a little press, and then we're going to pop that. Chuffy neck. Trying to remember the sequence now. Let's leave that off. Where's our little hydraulics thing? It's in here, isn't it? Precis menu, man delivery, misc map, video, system. It'll be on the system page. Camera rate bleed, oxygen supplies, no. Electrical systems. Hydraulics, here we go. So, we're going to press it until we get the little blue line, green line go from here. So, there it is. See it active there at the top. Flick the guard, whack it up, close the guard. That should be working. We'll find out in a minute. I hope this works. It should do. Thomas, thanks buddy. I feel like that needs to be... I think I remember last time that being like... You only got one or the other. You didn't have the ready with the prop brake, but I might be wrong. But it's worked, so we'll see if we actually manage to get it off though now. That'll be the next thing, won't it? Okay, where are we then with the rest of our prep? We're pretty much there, aren't we? It was David, but I wanted to flick up here to see if the light went out, because I remember last time it only having one on there. But, I mean, I pumped the hydraulics from the auxiliary pump. We'll work it out. If not, I'll smash it up. Exactly, David. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I don't know. A lot of people having a few issues with the ATR post one of these sim updates. But again, it's one of those quirky things that if you haven't used in a little while, if you miss one step or you get it slightly out of condition to what it's precisely expecting, the simulation of it kind of breaks. And as David's saying there, it can get itself into a little bit of a mess, which can be quite frustrating. So we'll just see what happens when we push back in a moment. With that in mind, I might actually sack off the boarding thing with GSX and get ready for pushback. So we can just restart QATL, bugger off, there we go. Too slow loading that stuff. Let GSX fire up again. While it's thinking about it, we'll go in here and I'll close the cargo door, main door, tail prop, come off ground power. Bar brakes on. We'll get rid of the chocks, and then I'll dip it out of that page so we can't click anything by accident, and we'll just see what happens.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure checks completed.
Okay, well that system still suggests like it's working. Let's get the beacon on. Doc says it's been broken since the last update, the ATR. It looks like it's got back in a proper state now, doesn't it? So we'll just keep an eye on it. So that's two things now we've had issues with. Master caution, hydraulic system loss. That's because the auxiliary hydraulic pump has deactivated itself. So before we release the prop brake, no idea if this is going to work because it has. Oh look, it seems to have stabilised itself. Okay, well I'm pretty happy with this then. What we'll end up doing is rotating prop 2. When we drop that off, I'm going to press the auxiliary hydraulic pump just to push power out of the emergency brake accumulator across into the prop brake section of the hydraulic systems there, which is currently orange. That'll go green, show an animation feeding across. And we want to face southeast on Fox.
Release parking brakes, please.
Right, I'm going to put pump 2 on as well and whack the probe heats on, just so I can focus a bit more on the engine start. Belgrade, traffic Air Serbia 290 Romeo on stand 10 Charlie, QNH 1013, push starts facing southeast on Foxtrots. Bar brakes off.
All engines clear.
Rightio, let's see if it's working. Thomas, welcome back, buddy. I'll turn the music up, or the sounds of the sim up a little bit more as well. Intense focus. Right, so hydraulics, prop brake, disengaged. Unlock reds. Prop brake is still going. Let's pop it to automatic. Low pitch. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that in the background.
Belgrade traffic, Osprey 2472, pushing back from stand A1 and we'll be facing to the north. Belgrade traffic.
So this scenery is created by Fly Too High. It's available on any builds. Elements of it are really good. I remember looking at this before, and there were a few weird things, like I think there's an A320 that's used instead of a really old school aircraft static model. There's things like that that are a bit weird and a bit disappointing about it, but nevertheless it seems okay in the main. Okay, so we will start prop 2 anyway. Sorry, start engine 1. Into feather. There she goes. Mr. Misterno, just need to make sure you're using the hydraulic pumps properly. The auxiliary hydraulic pumps. I have done a tutorial specific to the prop brake. Probably should have watched that before today, actually. That probably would have helped me quite a bit. A lot of the time they'll fly this single engine, well, taxi out on single engine, taxi in on single engine, but I'm just going to start both up to make sure, with the weird behaviour we had at the start, that we have a good propeller start on both sides. Lap 15. There it is. We'll get rid of the gust lock just so that we can do some control checks. See when it snaps like that? That's why I always do a few really slowly, and then it gets much easier to control. It seems to remember, then the sensitivity is a bit better. All the way back. All the way forwards. I'm actually going to do 2 of those because of the sim being a bit weird today, it seems. Ailerons, full left and right. So I've done a few little wiggles. Pop that back on for now. In fact, I'll leave it off. That'll do. It's easier, isn't it? What have we got? So, taxi lights. Pop that off. Still use on automatic. Gonna have a look at Luke Air Tool to see if we've got any Air Serbia stuff. Oh, we do.
Dame I gospodo, dobrodošli na let Air Serbia. Molimo vas da obratite pažnju na našu bezbednosnu demonstraciju.
No, TRU isn't needed.
Welcome aboard Air Serbia.
We don't need
Please
that.
pay attention
That's
as we
why it's
demonstrate
guarded.
the safety
The
features
TRU
of this
stays
aircraft.
off. No
Vaš
lights.
sigurnosni pojas mora biti vezan kada god je znak za
Right, let's get our nav
obavezno
display
vezivanje
up.
uključen.
Your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the fasten seatbelt
I'm hoping
sign
this
is
volume isn't too
illuminated.
loud for you guys.
Podešava se povlačenjem kaiša.
There we are, it's
To
probably a bit better,
adjust,
isn't it?
pull the strap.
Otkopčava se
So power
podizanjem
management on
gornjeg dijela
takeoff. I'm
kopča.
going to refer to my
To
charts
unfasten,
actually, my
lift the metal
checklist.
flap and pull the belt apart.
Ili, ukoliko putujete u biznis klasi, pritiskom
Yeah, flight
na
directors
crveni
are
deo
on.
kopče.
Or
Nav.
if you're traveling in business class, press the red button and pull the belt apart.
Ukoliko u toku leta
And
dođe do
VNAV
iznenadnog
speeder
gubitka
arms.
pritiska u kabini, maske za kiseonik automatski će ispasti iz odeljka iznad vašeg sedišta.
If emergency oxygen is required in flight, masks will drop down automatically
Just
from the
look
panel
released.
above you.
Snažno povucite
Trim set,
najbližu masku
so
ka
there's a
sebi.
little takeoff
Pull the
trim
mask
button here.
firmly towards you to start the flow
We'll
of
just
oxygen.
press it.
Prislonite je na nos I usta I dišite
There it is, up
normalno.
Place the mask
1.4.
over your nose and mouth and breathe normally.
Pričvrstite elastičnu traku oko glave I podesite je povlačenjem krajeva
They're both
trake.
on automatic.
Place
Gen
the elastic
2 and
band
Gen
over
1,
your
they're
head
all
and
on.
adjust by pulling on the
Hydraulic
straps.
power, no lights.
Masku
Flap set
prvo
takeoff,
namestite sebi,
anti-skids.
pa tek onda
Fuel
pomozite drugima.
controls.
Fit your own mask first before assisting
So,
others.
I think that's the
Ovaj
fault
avion
thing that everybody
ima
was on
8
about.
izlaza u slučaju
on idle.
opasnosti
There we
koji
go,
su
look.
jasno obeleženi. Strelice na znakovima pokazuju pravac izlaza. Najbliži izlaz može biti iza vašeg sedišta.
There are 8
Anti-skids
emergency
over here.
exits on this aircraft, which are clearly marked. The arrows on the
Anti-skid test.
signs indicate the direction to the exits. Your nearest exit may be behind you.
Svetleća traka na podu uputit će vas ka najbližem izlazu.
Master
In
cautions,
an
the hydraulics
emergency,
again, that's
the
something that's
four-path
massively
illumination
broken in this sim
will guide you to
update.
the exits.
Instrukcije kako da otvorite izlaz nalaze se na svakom izlazu.
Instructions on how to open the exits can be found on each exit.
Where are
U
we?
slučaju
Taxi nav lights on, wing
evakuacije
logo lights as
pratite
required,
instrukcije
de-ice as required,
If
engine 1 is
evacuation
already
is
start,
required,
automatic bleeds as
follow the
required.
cabin crew
AC
instructions.
wild, elect power,
Prsluk
no
za
white
spasavanje se
lights.
nalazi ispod vašeg sedišta u
Engine
ekonomskoj
instruments check,
klasi
pitot
ili
heats
sa
on, start
strane
selector
u
off and
sklopu
abort, that's all
vašeg
done.
sedišta u business
Get rid
klasi.
of the...
A life jacket is located under
there.
your seat in economy class.
Yeah, Mr.
or on the
Misterno,
side
so we
of the
mentioned that at the
seat
start
in
of the stream
business
today, you
class.
just need to make sure you
Kada
have a
dobijete
little bit of
instrukciju
power.
posade, uzmite prsluk, izvadite ga iz omota
All
I
you gotta do,
navucite
just-
preko glave.
When
Just move the
instructed
power
by the crew,
throttles
remove it from
up
its
a tiny
storage,
little bit and it will
take
then
it out
keep
of the cover
you
and
with
place
some
it
hydraulic
over
power,
your
but you will
head.
find that it will start to
Vežite
accelerate
trake oko
quite
struka
rapidly.
I podesite ih povlačenjem.
Fasten the strap around your waist
Turn that down.
and pull to tighten.
Bit loud, isn't
Naduvajte
it?
prsluk tek prilikom napuštanja aviona.
Pre-departure checks,
Prsluk
takeoff
se
config
naduvava
checked.
snažnim povlačenjem crvenih pločica ili duvanjem u cevčice.
Inflate your
Brake
life
issue
jacket
in
only
MSFS
as
does
you
my
leave the
nutting.
aircraft door. To inflate, pull firmly on the red toggle or blow into the mouthpiece if necessary.
Povlačenjem žute pločice upalit će se
Yeah,
malo
it's
svetla
very
pri
generic,
kontaktu sa
Andrej.
vodom.
Pull the yellow tab so the light illuminates on contact with water.
Prsluci I korpe za spasavanje
Belgrade
će
traffic,
biti
Air Serbia
obezbeđeni
29
iza
Romeo's
pete.
taxiing to hold
Life
point
jackets and
Delta
cots
2 runway
will also be
12
provided for
right
babies.
via
U
Mike.
džepu sedišta ispred vas nalazi se uputstvo za postupke u vanrednim
We'll go this way,
situacijama,
we'll use a bit more of the
uključujući i
runway than
izlaze.
needed.
Molimo vas da ovo
Just
uputstvo
because we've not
pažljivo
flown this in a
proučite
little
pre
while.
poletanja.
The safety card located in your seat area details important safety information, including exit signs. Please take a look at it before takeoff.
Uputstvo pokazuje stav za
we
udar
just need to
koji
wait for the
morate
safety demonstration
zauzeti
to
u
finish.
odnosu na vaše sedište kada čujete komandu
David says you do need
brace,
TRU
brace.
because
Sada se
it's an
upoznajte
extra
sa
DC
pravilnim
gen based
stavom.
on the props. If
It
you lose
illustrates
both
the
engines, you
brace
still get
system.
DC power generated.
Is taxiing to holding point Delta 2 for
Learned that
runway
from a recent
12
YouTube video
right
by an ATR
via
pilot
Golf
introduced after an
and
ATR
Alpha.
crash.
Na svim
Belgrade
letovima
traffic.
Air Serbije pušenje nije dozvoljeno.
All
As
Air
far as
Serbia
I'm aware,
flights
from
are
everything that I've
non-smoking.
read,
Zabranjeno je u svim delovima
that stays
aviona,
off and guarded
uključujući i toalete
unless you
koji
lose
su
an
opremljeni
engine, and then
detektorima
you
za dim.
whack it on.
Onesposobljavanje detektora za dim I nepoštovanje pomenutih pravila je protivzakonito.
Bloody hell.
Smoking is prohibited
That'll do,
in
we'll
all
just hold
areas of
it.
the aircraft, including the lavatories, which are fitted with smoke detectors. Tampering
So,
with a
part
smoke
brake on,
detector or
and again,
non-adherence to these
holding the
directions
throttles up a little
is a
bit,
criminal offence.
Vaš ručni prtljag mora biti smešten u gornje police ili
just
ispod
because of this
sedišta
weird
ispred vas.
hydraulic issue,
All
which
carry-on
just popped
items
up
must
again
be
because we
secured
idled
in
the
the
throttles.
overhead
There we are.
stowage
So
or
you
under
move it
the
up
seat.
just a
Sada
little
ste
bit
u
out of ground
obavezi da
idle.
isključite
That doesn't
ili
happen.
podesite na režim letenja sve
I think
elektronske
it might be
uređaje,
David's, yeah.
mobilne telefone kao I uređaje sa Bluetooth I Wi-Fi konekcijom.
You must now switch off or set to flight mode all electronic transmitting devices such as mobile phones, Bluetooth and
117,
Wi-Fi
I'm
enabled
set my
devices.
heading.
Upotreba ovih uređaja nije dozvoljena sve dok je uključen znak za obavezno
Just in
vezivanje.
case.
Use of these devices is not permitted until the fasten seatbelt signs are switched off.
U pripremi za poletanje vežite
Strobe.
sigurnosne pojaseve,
Put the landing lights
uspravite
on, wing
nastavne
lights,
sedišta,
that's all
spustite
checked.
rukohvate, zabravite stočiće ispred vas I podignite zavesice na prozorima.
That's
In
all done.
preparation for takeoff, ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened, seat back, upright, handset and tray table stowed, and window blinds.
Belgrade traffic, bus 3656, taxing to 1 left via Foxtrot.
Yes, the video safety demonstration is being done via the Luke Airtool, lukeairtool.net.
I u ime Air Serbije želimo vam prijetan let.
We thank you for your attention and wish you an enjoyable flight. with Air Serbia.
Belgrade traffic, got Air Serbia 29 Romeo 5 Delta 2 lining up runway 12 right and taking off 2 bar 3 Charlie departure Belgrade. Nikola Tesla. Where's me surveillance Dubry? Just locks off. They're both on automatic. So remember with this, folks, it's got a very low profile, and with it, it's incredibly easy to tail strike. So we're going to make sure the nose wheel is nice and centered. Couldn't see a windsock, now I can. We've got that slight crosswind that we spoke about before, haven't we? Which is currently now 2 knot crosswind, 2 knot tailwind. Our V speeds are here. V1, 109 rotate, 109 V2, 113. And we're going to set a little bit of power initially. Don't forget we've got to go to notch. So, brakes off. Notch. A little bit just into wind here because I'm using a bit of rudder to stabilise and centre the aeroplane along that centre line. Speeds alive, power sets. ATPCS is armed. 80 knots. So displaced threshold, we can take off from it, but we're not allowed to land on that displaced threshold. Very slow to accelerate. 109, rotate. Gentle, 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 otherwise we're going to smack the tail against the runway. Rotated and positive rate gear up.
Belgrade traffic, Osprey 6 for
Trim seems a little off.
Up runway
Seems very off. And away we go. That seems very off. Let's keep it turning. 1100s. Fuel damper engaged. We can hand fly it for a little bit. We're just going to let the nose come down a little bit now as well, and we're going to go power management mode to climb. Flaps can come up. Push to sink. And autopilot engaged. So LNAV, VNAV speed. We'll put that onto auto so that we get 170 for the climb out. Nose is coming down. Aeroplane's got it. We're going to go to react. Weather on. And we're going to drop the tilt. That's gain. Drop the tilt by 3 for now. That'll do us. Flaps are up. Power stays in notch. That's all done. Taxi takeoff lights can come off. Belgrade traffic, Air Serbia 29 Romeo's airborne 3,000 feet.
Belgrade traffic, Osprey 6476 departing runway 12 left via the 2x2 Victor.
I'm happy to be flying this again. It's a great bit of fun. It's small, dinky, slow, but also unique with its own complexities and little quirks. So if you haven't flown for a while, certainly if you're just flying Airbus all the time, you will struggle with, and you'll forget things, which is fine. Round we go. Nevertheless, looking good. 4,000. Let's keep the climbing to 16. We'll ignore the constraints. We're on Unicom. We'll just keep our climbing up. So 16,000. Speed stays 170 in climb mode, and 10,000 was our standard pressure. We'll transition to standard rather. And we'll be low and slow for the day. The next week, or the next stream that we're going to do is probably going to be this time next week. With my shifts and things, it's all a little bit of a mess at the minute, with some cancelled days off and a few bits. But I'm hoping to maybe stream on Saturday. That might not happen though.
Traffic Osprey
Days,
6476
that's
airborne
leveled off quite nicely there.
Belgrade. Final call.
Just going to bring the throttle down. Remember, there's no auto thrust in this. I just want it near to 170 or so.
Belgrade traffic. Osprey 270.
And now I'm just going to go, in fact, I'm going to go to speed mode. Notch notch. So set power for climb again. And speed mode now is going to continue through 6,000, holding at 170 knots to go through our altitude constraints in the SID up to cruise. Pascal, welcome aboard, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, as we were saying, so next week we are planning the next stream. I've already got a route set up with some brand new scenery which released today, I think actually, by BMA, I think it is, let me find, yeah, BMA. Borelli. He's created Bucharest Otopeni Airport, LROP, and because of that we're going to be flying out of Stansted with the Ryanair 737-800. We'll be flying a Ryanair service from Stansted across to Bucharest Otopeni, which is going to be quite fun. We'll be checking out that brand new airport scenery live next week. And if that's on Tuesday, it will be a day before my Mod 2. Let me just have a little look here to see what my plans are. 21st. Yeah, probably Tuesday, and then Wednesday is my Mod 2 day for my motorcycle assessment. I'm hoping I can stream on Saturday if I can get the day off though, on the 18th. So if I can, then we'll do it on the 18th. If not, it will be on Tuesday instead. Andy, hello buddy. The ATR, I thought it was broken, obviously not. It's got some issues. One of those being loss of hydraulics if you idle the throttle. So basically just leave it slightly over that. I'm hoping it's not a problem in flight idle, only ground idle. Otherwise we might have a bit of sweaty palms later on. But yeah, it's full of quirks. I feel like I'm picking it up fairly quickly again. We'll keep that push to sync. Andy, the DC Designs Concorde, how broken is it? I find that incredibly disappointing nowadays because it's been out for about 2 years now, hasn't it? And remember what they told us back 2 years ago? Oh, we're gonna put INS in next year and all that kind of stuff. Where's INS? We're all still waiting. And in the meantime, he's churning out fighter jets left, right, and centre for the marketplace, and not actually doing INS. So Concorde's still crap. Rob, hello. Just ground idle. Good stuff. INS, yeah, that never happened. Bit naughty, really, isn't it? I mean, you could argue it's been missold. I suppose if you wanted to go to that level of extreme with it, you could argue that that's been missold because everybody purchased it on the basis that INS would arrive. Landing lights off. Seatbelt signs off. Standard pressure. Standard pressure. Sochi's Russia, isn't it? You won't get me flying there. unfortunately. Let's expand this so we can see what we're doing a bit more. So we'll bring the range ring up to 80 miles. And we're going to be at top of climb. A few miles from now actually, which is pretty good. Zato says he never liked the DC Designs Concorde, and he says, really, a SIVA INS FMC? Oh please, I'd rather input the coordinates myself with an actual SIVA INS, not an INS FMC. Well, it hasn't even got INS still, after about 2 years. Which is pretty disgraceful. We'll flick that across to MDA, that one's matched. Just for later on.
Belgrade traffic service to
3,000 to go. So really slow today, really low. And that's one of the nice things about this ATR. We're going to be flying around at an altitude not much greater than this, but it gives us the ability to actually genuinely quite enjoy some of the photogrammetry in various locations around the world in MSFS. We get that slightly better definition at this altitude than we otherwise would. I should probably turn the logo light out. We don't need it on, do we? Or the wing lights. There we are. Three screenshots for today. We'll pop them into Valanta, which is just here on your screens now. Zato's already airborne. He's taken off on the other runway by the looks of it. Oh no, he's done a real sharp right flying to VORs. Screenshots, let's have a look. Look at that, absolute beauty. We haven't flown up for a while, have we? I do enjoy it, it's a heck of a challenge. It's just not, unfortunately, not a popular aircraft for streams, so you find that if we do fly it, only a couple of hundred people bother watching in total across a number of hours. Badger's airborne already in the 737. Right up there ahead of us. And there we are, flying the Star still. John's up in the ATR72-600, and we zoom in a little bit more. Ian, Osprey 2472 is ready to go. So that's our little fleet of pilots for today. One to go. So it says if it's an FMC with the SIVA INS logic, that's why I'm looking forward to the Just Flight A300, as it's going to have a proper INS system. I do know how to fly the INS system, 10 coordinates and every 10 you have to input more. See, I don't know how to use it, never have, so it should be quite good. I look forward to learning that sort of thing. Morgan, hello to you, yeah, really good, thank you. Roy says, what do you guys think of the Just Flight Fokker F28? Is it worth purchasing? In all honesty, I've not flown it for a little while, but it is really good fun, and it's one heck of a challenge. They've updated it recently as well, haven't they, to iron out a couple more quirky bugs with the autopilot and all that sort of thing. But I really enjoy it. I think it's a very cool little aircraft with beautiful detail, really nice sounds, incredible sounds to be fair. and I think it's pretty good. It's just a question, Roy, of if you'd like to do that style of flying. It's very old school, and a lot of us are hoping as well that at some point in the near future, Just Flight get the RJ out and the Fokker F70 and F100, which is the more modern version of the F28. That's going to be excellent. That's going to be really, really good. I'm sure of it. David there saying he can't really go too far wrong with most Just Flight aircraft. Really, just want them to get the Vulcan out. Yeah, what a machine that is. I've still got such vivid memories at air shows. RF Cosford's, and it flew over on this air show one year before it got grounded, and I remember they passed over the airfield, and as he got to the halfway point, it just smacked the power up, and it shook the ground, literally vibrated the floor underneath our feet. And I've just never experienced anything like it. Roy, it sounds like a really good product for you then, to be fair, buddy. So 16,000 feet now. The aircraft's accelerating up to our sort of cruise speed there. And what we can do is pop our power management dials across into the cruise mode selector there. Fire Blaster, welcome. I just hope Just Flight get the sounds right on the Vulcan. I'm sure they will. They're pretty good with that sort of thing, aren't they? So excited for my Mod 2 next week. It's a 30-minute supervised bike ride with an advanced motorcycle examiner behind me, and they are zooming about. Basically we go navigating either through Oxford or Banbury, I think, from what I understand, on a specific route that the examiners know, I don't know in advance, and it tests my ability in various scenarios, so roundabouts, some slower kind of riding through 20-30 mile an hour roads, all the way up to dual carriageways at 70, and they're looking at safe overtakes, entry and exit to roundabouts, blind spot checks, your lifesavers, all that sort of thing over 25-30 minutes, and use of indicators and all that sort of thing, and how you're braking and how you position the bike on the road. And apparently it's easier than the Mod 1, which was quite tough, to be fair. My habit is I like to apexing roundabouts on the motorbike, like I would in my car. If it was a smallish roundabout with only 3 exits and it was nice and clear and I had good vision into that roundabout, I would be apexing that in my car. So I'm doing that on my motorbike as well during the lessons, and the instructor's loving it. But you have to get the right lifesaver done at the right time, and if you don't, then you failed. So part of me thinks I might just play it a bit safer, a bit smoother, and just have lane discipline around the roundabouts, so it just gives me that little bit more thought time to process stuff. The problem there is if you have what they were saying yesterday, if you stick to lane discipline around the roundabout, but it's a roundabout that all of the locals apex, then you're going to get a car like an Audi try and leapfrog you and jump ahead, and if that happens, you've caused that. And if you don't see that happening in your lifesaver, your blind spot check, then that's a major fault and you failed. So I think I'll kind of blend the two. I'll look at the roundabout on approach and decide whether or not it's going to be an apex or not. It's so good. Like yesterday, we were doing it in Storm Debbie, wasn't it? I think it was. Doing it yesterday in just howling winds, and the very first bit is riding the bike in. You have to then turn back into a little boxed area, so 4 green cones, and you have to park it centrally in that. Whole bike needs to be in that bay. And then you have to pop it in neutral, kick the stand down, turn the engine off, and then get off the bike. And then they say to you, you need to stand the bike up and push it backwards out of the bay into a bay of 4 cones about 2 car widths away from you, and trying to stabilise. Usually it'd be fine, but trying to stabilise this 200 kilogram motorbike whilst pushing it backwards and turning it, which is where it wants to try and lean against you, with a gusting wind of like 30 odd miles an hour, proved quite difficult. So I'm there trying to like hold on for dear life and not drop this bike and get it into this bay, but got there okay. That was the little bit that I was worried about with the wind, the conditions, and then the U-turn that I got all worked up about was absolutely bloody fine. Don't know why I was so worried. Oh, have they changed that now? That's bloody fantastic if they have. Go out that bit? No, we can't. We go out that bit? No. That bit? No. 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 We can't go out of those, but that bit we can. Wash. Pyroblaster, good to hear. Except for your back going though, that's not good. I hope you're feeling better soon. Rest up. Look at physiotherapy exercises for back stretching and things like that. Well, it depends what's happened to your back though, I guess, as well. You don't want to aggravate it. Hello, welcome to you as well. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Steve saying Banbury's got some fun roundabouts to contend with. The commentator said it's just a ride. I'm looking forward to getting it done. So I've got my Mod 1 certificate. I just need that one final certificate to say that I can have a full bike license. And then I'm looking at doing, because I'm already in the Institute of Advanced Motorists, I'm looking at doing a Institute of Advanced Motorcyclist road skills test. Part of my membership, gets slightly discounted rate on that. And the idea there being that you get mega discounts on your car, your motorcycle insurance. Andy, awesome. I've not gone into Banbury before. We've been riding around Oxford a fair bit. Pyroblast, I've already bought one. It's been secured in the garage for the last 2 months, almost. Yeah, almost 2 months. Bloody hell. In fact, I think I got it on the 14th of September, to be fair. So exactly 2 months. Crikey. I've got a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro in sapphire black. I've got a Scott oiler fitted to it. I've got a Thunderbox that I've fitted to it. I've got an Arrow Arrow exhaust fitted to it as well. And I've just fitted an Innov K6 motorcycle dash cam, which is awesome. I highly recommend it. Really, really, really good for anyone looking to get a motorbike dash cam. Really, really cool bit of kit. In 2K as well at the front. Very discreet, incredibly discreet. I've been learning Pyroblaster on a Triumph Trident 660. Just a remarkably impressive motorbike. The second I got on it, I felt very confident. So I'm looking forward now to actually being able to ride my Tiger. I'm just trying to plan an idea, like a little route that I could take it on. I might take it round some of the country roads around where I live. To be fair, not too far from me is some of the test routes for a different test location as well. So I might be able to dip in and out of those and have a little look about. And he says we recommend the A423 out of Banbury for a blast. Trucks, and as my instructor says as well, Honda Jazzes. So if you see a Honda Jazz, they want to kill you. That's what he says. He's been knocked off by one before. Usually it's somebody of an older generation who probably shouldn't be on the road anymore. And they don't see you, and even if they do see you, they then aim at you. So I've been told, stay away, unless you, if you value your life, stay away from a Honda Jazz, because they will kill you. But I better heed that advice. Toyota Yaris's are usually pretty shocking as well on the road, most of the time uninsured. And he says he used to get a lot of Aston Martins and Jags from the nearby Gaydon plant out for testing around there. I know someone who works there actually. He says never ever buy a Jag. Zata says, man, I have a neighbour who has a Honda Jazz but modified the living daylights out of the exterior. It's stock and automatic with a loud cannon exhaust. Why would you do that? I'm going to have to Google, hold on. Honda Jazz souped up. I mean, some of these, to be fair, look pretty wicked. If you've got a second screen, folks, Google Honda Jazz Rally. That's insane. Actually looks quite good. Oh look. Oh, that's weird. Did you guys see that then? The propeller. Weird. Like the whole animation stopped. James says, hey Luke, now that you've got a motorcycle, you could do those famous moto vlogs on YouTube where you ride about with a GoPro on your helmet and talk about your day. Could do. MSFS news on the Tiger. I don't think the format would work so well, to be honest. Should we have a look, see what the crew are doing behind us? Let's pop on to Valanta again and have a little look-see. So, Ian's... Oh, we've got KLM 2105. They're taxiing out. Air Serbia 4 oh no, they're off to Podgorica, so they're not flying with us. There we go, Ian's up. He's taxiing. Come on, Ian. I reckon once you get airborne, just do a big old U-turn. Oh, he's got a slightly different route to us, I think, as well. So we've got this weird route that's taking us all the way up through Croatia to Zagreb and then across. And Ian's route there is taking him across Bosnia-Herzegovina over just to the north of Banja Luka. As has Badgers by the looks of it, because he's already almost there. We've only just ended the SID. Zato's ahead of us in the DC6. And John's popping out behind us there too. Oh, me too, John. How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're well. You kind of get used to flying the Boeings, the 737s and things, don't you, or the A320s. I mean, you dive into this and you forget how hands-on it is. James, I haven't got my PPL. I stopped doing it. In fact, I'm about to sell my Bose aviation headset because I know I'm not going to reasonably be able to afford it, nor be able to justify the unnecessarily expensive hobby just to get a PPL. So I'm going to sell my Bose aviation headset and my spare headset. I'm going to sell my kneeboard and my little Pooley's flight computer, and my square rulers and things like that as well. I've got 2 GoPros I don't use either, so I might just sell those, to be fair. Although I could put one on the motorbike, on my helmet, but I have got a dash cam. Yeah, sad times indeed, Andy. I think I've kind of looked at it now as much as I would absolutely love to do it. I really, really would. I just don't think I can justify I don't think I can justify spending £10,000 more on flying training, and then having to pay £3,000 to £4,000 a year just to keep that one rating, that PPL, in date. With then the 2 yearly check rides and all the rest of it. It's about £3,500 to £4,000 on average across those each year, just to keep it in date. And for what reason? I don't know. I threw my name into the hat for the British Airways sponsored intake, Andy. I actually got pretty far through it as well. Quite proud of myself. I got right up to the point where we had been handed off to the flying school, and I basically had to do the tests with, was it Signature Aviation now? I can't remember who it was. I have to find out on an email. I was at the phase where I'd gone through all of the BA testing, and then I got through to the flying school aptitude tests, and I had a date I had to complete it by, which I was in Mauritius at the time on holiday, so I couldn't do it. They then extended it, but in that time I did the maths. Yeah, I did the maths basically, which meant that I would have to sell my house in order to be able to go on a 18-month training course to become a pilot. And I can't do that. I can't do that. So I at that point decided to bow out, rather sadly. Yeah, I think with the way I was going, Andy, I think I would have been confident getting through to the physical interview. So I had one more computer-based aptitude test to complete, and then the next bit would have been the physical interview, the face-to-face interviews at the flying school. Before then, looking at starting the courses and things. But yeah, I think it's just not meant to be. I'm not willing to sell my house. That's it, basically. 707 Liner Hello says, what about becoming an air traffic controller? Same issue. I actually looked at that about 8-9 years ago, approximately. But that was a 6-month residential course, and you get assessed every week, and if you fail any of the assessments, you're booted off the course. That's it. And again, it was something I'd have to go on a career break or leave my job in order to go and achieve. And with a mortgage, again, it's just not feasible. So they're very much geared up to just try and take people out of college with no commitments. For those of us where life has taken over, the way it's all built and structured is as if they don't want us, which is a bit frustrating. Sam C, no, you wouldn't have been paid whilst training for VA. No, they give you a subsistence allowance, I think it is, but it's very small. Certainly not enough to cover a mortgage, food, everything else. Adam, the maths for the bits that I did were fine. It was all basic aviation related maths, so speed, distance, time calculations, basic subtraction and addition, a little bit of multiplication and division as well. But it was all stuff that you could do fairly easily yourself with the calculator. You're allowed to use a calculator as well. There were a couple of what were they? Like conversion type questions. But they were fine. I'm rubbish at maths, and I got through them quite happily. And yeah, but the issue there is my other half doesn't earn that much more above minimum wage, so it's basically all on me to kind of pay for. I wouldn't want the burden on her either for that kind of thing. That's an interesting email. My motorcycle insurance provider has decided to suddenly email me to threaten to terminate my insurance policy for some reason, but I can't log in to find out why. It's got to be the password, surely. Don't like that kind of email. They could just call me. No, so it's basically, it's not a scam. It's the way the insurance is structured for the bike, because I haven't got a full license for the motorcycle yet. I've had to pay for like a 2-month direct access cover, which allows me to obtain my license whilst having the bike garaged and insured at the same time, to make sure it's all legitimate and everything else. Obviously that date is coming up now. But I need to make sure, because it might be that they've actually set the date wrong. The silly thing is, you can't send your last 8 digits of your license number to show Category A license is held, because it could take weeks for the DVLA to deal with it. So what I'd be able to do is send them my Mod 2 certificate. First, where's my Mod 2? I'll have to call them up. Stupid people. I told them where all my dates were. They're probably going to charge me more money now. It's already £1,500 to insure with these bloody idiots. It was an extra £300 or £400 for the direct access cover, which is pretty stupid, isn't it, really? Because you're paying an extra 300 odd quid for insurance, knowing that you can't ride that bike. Which is odd, because surely they would just insure you on the basis that you have a condition that you are not allowed to ride the bike unless you are licensed to do so. Otherwise they just won't cover you at all. So I don't understand the point in the cover. So I might just call them up and kick off, put a complaint in. Because I've got my car insured with the same brokers. I have done for years. £1,500 for a year, David. So about $2,100 US, I think it is, for 12 months. But brilliant. That's going to be a fun conversation, isn't it? They've basically got the date wrong by 1 day. Because my Mod 2 is on the 22nd, but they've got it marked as I should have the categorisation by the 21st. Oh, it's incredibly expensive, David, still. The problem is, if they cancel your policy, when you get your insurance renewal, this is where they get you actually, it's pretty nasty. You have to declare then, if they cancel this, they will have to declare that, well, next time I buy an insurance product for car or motorcycle, I will have to make sure that I declare that I've had that policy cancelled in the past, and that's then going to affect my other premiums over something that's not my fault. It would have been cheaper, it would have been nearer to about £1,200 if it wasn't for that direct access cover, but I was very conscious I needed to have the bike insured while it was stored. So through Nasi, not worried about fuel at all here. Zagreb coming up in 80 nautical miles. So I was going to sawn it, but I ended up just taxing it because there was a paperwork issue with the dealership. So I ended up with one of those threatening letters from the DVLA saying from one date to another my bike was uninsured, my bike was not taxed or declared off the road. But those dates it was still kind of in trade, getting delivered to my house the next day sort of thing. So I ended up sorting that out. That was a pain in the backside as well. Yeah, how much is 1,500 GBP in Australian dollars? For those of you in Australia, then it's basically 2,880 Australian dollars for a year for my bike to be insured, with the equivalent of. Crikey, commentator, that's madness. Yeah, depending on how this conversation goes later with this lot, I will be firing up all manner of complaints and I'll be voiding the policy myself and cancelling it for a refund. Screw them. Roy, I've got a Triumph Tiger 900 GT. Ian, I know, it's insane. Car insurance is a bit less. I mean, I think the issue for me with the price is because it's a big bike for a brand new rider. With basically no experience, so after 1 year apparently it drops massively, so I'll probably pay half of what I do now. Yeah, Steve, it's yeah. So what do they say? It's like private healthcare, where you have it goes up every year because of medical equipment inflation and supply costs and all that kind of thing. Very similar to car insurance and motorbike insurance and all that jazz. That little red light there, I think, is Zato in his DC6, but we're not going to catch him at 210 knots. Commentator, that sounds really good. As those of you with motorbikes in the UK, have you ever been insured with Bikesure? That's who I'm with, who sent me this email. And what are they like? John, awesome. Very cool. Another Zato overtake. Well, he's in the cloud now, so no idea where he's gone. I think he's going to be here somewhere in this cloud. probably filling up every single sick bag that they took with us. Only Sheila's wheels. Didn't know they did motorbike insurance. I'm ignoring all the checklists here as well, just in case you are wondering. John, is your lad looking at doing a direct access then, or is he prohibited by age? Oh, interesting. So you were with them, but then they decided not to acknowledge the previous 2 years of being a customer. Oh yeah, at 26, John, yeah, you can go straight to big bikes. Which is pretty cool. And they are much better. And much more stable than a 125, to be fair, John. I was really worried about having a horrible experience riding the 125s on my CVT. And then I've gone across onto the 660s, the Trident. My goodness, night and day. So smooth, so stable. You've got the power to get out of problems as well. So you're pulling away from lights or on a slip road, and you can pin it, accelerate away from all the cars behind you on the slip road, and you create a little safety zone. And then you've got time to look at merging without cars being up your backside, giving you very little space. Alright, let's flick out of stream beats. Let's go back to Epidemic Sound, shall we? So, I think we're getting quite close to him actually. We'll keep an eye on Zato, but we'll look at the charts in the meantime. We are off to Rijeka in Croatia. We've got a 9 knot headwind and a 2 knot crosswind for runway 14. We're expecting the ILS Zulu. Rugos 1 Zulu arrival with the transition of Erdox for the approach and the transition into the star of Rugog. So, it's going to look like this. Heading over the mountains, through Rugog, past Erdax for the initial approach fix, and then we'll be turning left onto our approach. ILS Zulu 14, it's going to be quite tight, so Erdax out to RI 410, down to 5,500, speed dropping off, and then into Breza NDB, before turning in 135 degrees for the approach. Initially offset, and as we establish, we'll then join at 140 degrees inbound course to Rijeka runway 14. We've got the Rijeka from the Microsoft Flight Simulator World update installed, so looking forward to seeing that. And the missed approach procedure for this is climb runway heading 140 degrees to 6,000 feet at or above, basically following that path, so 405, 406, 407, and then back to Erdax to join the hold at 8,000 feet at that point. So we can commit that into the aircraft's brain. So, flight plan, LDRI, ILS 14 Zulu, Rugog 1Z, that one, via Erdax, execute. So we've got a discontinuity after KOTOR. We've got Rugog there, that's fine. So we're going to clear that discontinuity and execute the change. So we'll be going KOTOR onto the star. And on the VNAV side of things, transition level is going to be 11,000. See if it lets me put it in. No, not on that one. We're on the performance page then, I believe. Cruise, approach, transition altitude 11,000. QNH is 1013. And we've got approach speed of 109 and full flap. Landing winds at the moment 160 at 9, but variable. There we are. So we'll pop that in, and I'll see if we've overtaken Zato yet. Let's have a quick peek up below us. Ah, there he is. We're not there yet. There's the old bird. We are catching him though. Andy, nice. Yeah, direct access is really good, John, but he's got to be really careful with how he, who he books with. So, when I was on my Mod 1 yesterday, it really stood out to me that I was actually really lucky with who I'd chosen as my school, because my instructor allowed us to have a bike each. We weren't sharing bike, and it was just a 2-on-1 training ratio as well. So we actually got a lot from him. We get a lot from him with his instruction. Some of the training schools will share bikes, so they'll have to drive to like a car park for the Mod 1 training, and they'll share a bike, and they'll just do 30 or 40 or so minutes on a bike each while they practice a manoeuvre, and they'll rotate across 6 of them on a bike, which is just rubbish for the same price. So make sure he does loads of research into selecting the right training provider. I know, Doc, is incredible, isn't it? I can't believe the ATR can actually win a race. David, awesome. I'm going to be in Tropicana as well. I've got my rooms booked, I've got my flights booked. The only thing I'm going to need now is a cab from Las Vegas across to Strip. Still haven't had the annual leave authorised though. I need my time off actually given to me first. Even though I've booked everything already. We've got a caution on the charts, by the way, that says due to strong northeasterly wind gusts, wind shear and turbulence can be expected on the final. There's a little pre-note there. Let's see if I can try and get him in a screenshot. Make sure the drone camera's level with the horizon, because otherwise it's a bit skew-if. There he is. It's like, is it Moonraker, the Bond film, where that thing in space opens up and then gobbles the other spaceship up or something like that? Yeah, I found my school via Google reviews, just by chance actually. I almost booked with the school that one of the schools that I saw the other day, but thank goodness, because they look like they just don't give a damn. And if they get students fail, they don't care about their failure rate going up. They just think, brilliant. Well, that retest is £250, £300, please. So for them, they'd be like, well, if a student fails, we're just going to make more money. Happy days. Rab, thank you, buddy. Been with us for 10 months. Came on to Funny says on the best simming channel on YouTube. Appreciate it. Why do I get the feeling that we're going to converge on the airport at the same time? I might go direct to KOTOR now. Don't know actually. Can't get out of the thing to see. He's right underneath us then. There he is. Shall I do a direct 2 to try and get us a little bit of spacing, Zato? What do you think? Yeah, it's the world's slowest aviation race.
Osprey 6476 will be making a 90-degree left turn for spacing with the ATR above us.
Oh, let's see what this looks like then. Brake, go! Off he goes. Look at that! Live scenes. The Croatia Air Show 2023. Powered by Osprey Airways. Now off he goes. Passengers will be like, whoa, look at that. I'm a bit worried about calling this insurance company now later on. I literally told them the dates of my courses as well. I'd like to think they can extend it by a week if it's a bit of an admin error. That'd be good, Zato, actually, yeah. An Osprey Air Show. We could go to Duxford, couldn't we? Make use of that really good freeware Duxford scenery. Got our little top of descent marker there. Ooh, we're flying an ILS, aren't we, actually? So, we need to tune that in. So, Rijeka's VOR, and we got the ILS frequencies there, 108.5, Horse 140 inbound. So, what do we want? Nav. Standby. 108.
Traffic Osprey 6476 will be making a 180. Continuing spacing between Osprey. Oh, wait, no.
108.
Air Serbia 290 Romeo.
1178. ADF, there was an NDB, wasn't there? Part of this, so 400. Let's tune him in, just in case we need it. What about traffic norm? I think that's it, isn't it? We'll have to tune the course nearer the time. I can see Zato there now, actually. Zato, I reckon if you're tracking to Zagreb, if you just go direct to Zagreb now, I'm 9 miles away. It might be might help with your spacing there. The current METAR, by the way, folks, let's put it in a live chat for you, so you can see the weather in Rijeka. It's pretty rubbish, actually. We need to put our minimums in as well. I can tell I'm tired today because I'm forgetting little things. Minimums are 207. Actually, what are we doing? We'll do 471. We'll do 480, so we don't round down, we round up. And the QNH is still 1013, so lots of rubbishy weather. And rain, apparently, as well. So, Rijeka's METAR currently at 1400 Zulu, winds 160 degrees at 9 knots, variable between 130 degrees and 190 degrees. All the 9s, and rain. Few clouds 1,300 above ground level, broken 3,000 feet above ground level, and overcast 4,000 above ground level. Temperature 16. Dew point 15, so that spread's now reduced from 2 degrees spread to a 1 degree spread. So we're going to get decreasing visibility. At least that's what we can kind of expect when we get there. And at QNH 1013. Left turn coming up. So what do we got here on our checklist? Destination weather obtained, arrival data set and checked. Radios are set, wing, engine, anti-ice as required. We will use it going through the clouds here, I think. Oh, Doc's got the latest METAR, there you go, look at that. So we talked about the spread and the reducing visibility. That METAR is now refreshed. Doc's got the newest one, and look at that visibility now dropped to 8,000 meters in rain. And we can directly compare the two METARs, actually. The overcast at 4,000 has gone, but still might be there, just might not be on the METAR at the moment that they took it. We'll leave auto speeds on. There's no auto thrust, it's down to us to deal with the throttle. That's on automatic. We're checking the overhead panel. All looks really good. Seatbelt signs on now, I think, just because it's one less thing to click in a little while. Although we do have 60 miles to stop a descent, so maybe not. I'll have people getting twitchy, won't it? Bit of a crosswind, 283 at 52. Crikey, poor little plane. Alipay, it's kind of, well, it's not as good as KMTG and Phoenix. but it also only costs about £10. So value-wise, exceptionally good, and it's great fun. It can do a lot of stuff as well. So it was the Dash 8 Sandy for Flybe, but they had one ATR though, I think, didn't they? I think I remember them having one ATR in their fleet. And I know Logan Air has got a couple of ATRs now. In fact, they've just purchased a new ATR72-600. In fact, I'm sure Flybe at one stage had an ATR, as well as Dash 8s. Might be wrong. Yeah. 17th of September 2015, Flybe welcomed the ATR72-600 aircraft into their fleet. And it was in their cool little blue, the purple livery, and it was operated by Blue Islands. So it wasn't owned by Flybe, but it was a Blue Islands aircraft, by the looks of it. Stobart Air / Flybe. Oh, they did actually have some in their fleet. It absolutely is Pyroblaster, yes. Alrighty, there's Rijeka, and the blue dash line is our missed approach path. That's good. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything else. I've gone through the checklist. I don't think I have. We'll have to, just to refresh my memory before locking onto the ILS. There's the approach button. The ILS 1 will have to get toggled across. We'll need to make sure that the ILS is active as well, which is 1085, I think, wasn't it? Afternoon, Ashley. Welcome, welcome. Steve, not yet. I'll do that when we get aligned. Trying to remember how this. I think the quirks of this, it'll want you to do it just beforehand. That's our crosswind at the moment. So about, what, 25 knots crosswind, 25 knots headwind, just to round it off evenly. Right. So those flying behind, depending on where you are, I'll be able to watch 1 or 2 touchdowns, I think. But I'll definitely need to call this insurance company, reading through that letter. Set that now then, see what it gives us. Course was inbound 140. Go back to LNAV. It's a bit of a Jim Bop, isn't it? No worries, Ian. I mean, I did as well, to be fair. I had to restart it in the menu because the bloody screen here froze, the tablet froze. John. No worries at all. I think they'll probably be easier to deal with. They'll just delete the pirate and pretend it never happened. This is their more generic playlist, actually, for epidemic sounds. It's their, how do they say it here? It's their biggest and most enduring songs all in one powerful playlist for your listening bliss. That's what it says. This one's a bit weird though. Let's just skip that. Ooh, dock, very nice. There's an aircraft going overhead, much higher. This aeroplane's so slow, isn't it? I wonder where we stand with the. I wonder if they will actually extend my insurance cover by a week for me to get that physical date ticked off. Oh yeah, absolutely, David. Imagine if we did this in the 737, we would have been there after about 20 minutes. Of in-flight time, we'd have turned around and would have flown back. If you act today, depending on your circumstances, you may be able to rectify the situation and maintain cover. Oh, how pleasant of you. Half of it's their bloody mistake. Cheeky buggers. I hope so, Andy. Otherwise, I've been with them for a number of years with my car insurance because they do a specific scheme through work, but I've also used them with an RTC that I had. I got hit on a motorway. I got rear-ended by an old chap who didn't realise that we were all stationary in traffic, and I sadly was the end of the queue, and he went straight to the back of me in my old car, and they were fantastic. So I said to myself, even if I ended up paying slightly more than another insurer, I knew that they were good in collisions. So for that reason, I stuck with them, and they've been very, very, very good. And obviously, they do a motorcycle insurance arm as well. So I thought, you know what, I'll use them for that too. And they had this special direct access scheme with a specific insurer. Ah, Doc, very nice. So you're headed to Singapore. Right, let's do an inbound call then. We got 42 track miles. Maybe we'll wait. We'll wait till top of descent, about 30 miles out, because we're so slow. If I was in a 737 or an A320, I'd be calling it rural here, but where are you flying on to after that then, Doc? 8 hours layover, bloody hell, that just sounds horrendous. What do you do in that 8 hours? I didn't know you were an artist. Right, what altitude do we need to descend to? Erdax at 8,000. I have Zato, yes, I just haven't got around to actually doing anything with it, sadly. Yeah, I just haven't had the spare time. I was going to do it after the stream today, but now I need to call this insurance company, so it's not lining up well for me to get it up to date and stuff with a VMR. John, nice. Go direct to Erdax, just straight in. Bosh. Pop the star in and bang, Erdax direct. If they're going to be awkward about it, the insurance actually, what I might just say is, you know what, I'll cancel the entire thing then. I want a full refund, and I want to take out a new policy starting tomorrow. See what they say. Beacon nav, strobe, seatbelt signs. We've done the ILS. Here are ILS 1085, 1085, 27 miles. Rijeka traffic, Air Serbia 29 Romeo ATR72-600, currently flight level 160 and descending to Erdax 8000 for the ILS Zulu, runway 14, will report turning onto final Rijeka traffic. Vertical speed. I like to be able to control this neatly myself. We'll drop it ever so slowly. We'll start at 800. We'll bring the range ring in so we can see a bit more what we're doing. It's 10 miles. Well, actually, we'll expand that a bit more. So bottom of descent marker there. James, what do you think? Dog. I think it's pretty smooth actually. Look, we could do about 1,100 foot per minute into the clouds. So let's preempt this. think it's that, isn't it? Speed's good, so power's set nicely, 50%. Jacob, welcome on board, thanks for subscribing, buddy. AOA's active. Just drop power a little bit more. $8,000, then we've got 8 miles to 5,500, and we want to be at 3,400 by 409. That's then turning inbound, and then the outer mark at 2,900 feet for the ILS, and it's a 3-degree glide slope. And we know there's terrain around here, so I'm going to pop that on instead. (5,000 feet), 4685 to the left, so we'll be clear of any terrain as well, to be fair. So there's a little bit of terrain down here, a little bit off towards our right as well at 5,000 feet. Jakob, yeah, you could just use the command specs in the live chat. That's the one. I wonder if there's a descending.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Ladies and.
No. Okay, well I'll close the Luke Air till then because it doesn't have any more announcements. Boo. Yes, look at this. Getting some mega turbulence now, getting bashed around all over the place. We're about to sink into this cloud as well.
Check the traffic of 26476 with DC6 Bravo, descending to 4,000 by the Vigo 1 Zulu depart arrival, expecting ILS
Is that sun gone?
14.
Let's see how we're doing here. Bring the throttle back, through 10,000, landing lights. So we'll put the taxi lights on and I'll put the wing lights on as well for icing checks. Bring the range ring in once more. So good. I love bopping into cloud on MSFS. So 210 is the minimum. That's fine. We're going to continue the descent now to 5,500 through. There we are. We'll go to standard pressure. From standard pressure, sorry, to local QNH. 1013 is still the same. We've got a 9 knot headwind and a 2 knot crosswind for the arrival now. And we'll just try and keep our speed up a little bit. Max 185 knots at Rijeka 410. .33 knot crosswind. Pause the music.
Traffic, KLN 2105 is vacated runway 14.
Lots of concentration here because I used to be so familiar and comfortable with this aircraft the last time I flew it. I certainly remember being quite confident with it, but now I feel like I'm not chasing it, but just being very conscious that actually we've got all this terrain around us which looks exquisite. Look at that. But also I'm flying an aircraft that I've not operated in a little while, so I'm going to be a tad bit rusty. So 170, we'll aim to hold that. We'll continue down, 4-5, sorry. At Breza NDB, 3-4, we'll continue down to 3-4. Turning in. And we have 135 inbound, isn't it? So look at this. This is insane. My goodness. Absolutely was, David. Yeah, I totally agree. One to go. My goodness, look at this. Turning in. Rijeka traffic, Serbia 29 Romeo's, Breza NDB turning inbound for the ILS. Zulu runway 14. Rijeka traffic. There he goes. Even harder when you've got a dog going mental as well. So 3,400, we'll pop that on. I'm going to pop approach mode on now as well. Speeds, that was very distracting. What a terrible time for, for anything to be delivered. Right, so speeds just about okay. I'm going to go flat 15. He's doing alright, David, thank you. Yeah, he's not doing too bad at all. We'll pop those off, side windows airframe. Final check of the overhead, happy with those, that's all set. AOA can come off now. 3,400. Course 140. So now we're on the ILS. 17 knot crosswind from right to left. And look at that. That's extraordinary. Oh. The sim just continues to impress, doesn't it? Every time you fly in a different region, experience something else. Just really cool. Let's dive back in now because the nose has come down, so we're going to start accelerating away. There's the latest METAR from Doc in the live chat, new QNH. 1012. Eight miles, 9 miles, approximately. And look at that. Woohoo! Get gear down. Yeah, looking forward to it, Ashley. We'll select wet, no reverse. Approach speed 109 again. Lovely jubbly. There's the runway. Got one heck of a crosswind. Uh-oh. What have I done? Ah. There we go. Right. Let's go gear down now. So gear down 3 green, let's go full flap. And finally, power management to takeoff. So I'm just keeping the speed up. I know the approach speed's 109, but because of this sort of variable winds, the light rain, although that METAR has changed slightly, I'm just amending it a little bit. But I'll keep it on the ILS for now. Let's see what we've got here. Look at this. Such a cool aircraft as well, isn't it? For 10 quid, what a bargain. Gives you the opportunity to go and explore parts of the world like this that are just really spectacular. There's the runway.
And traffic Osprey 6476, turning base for the ILS runway 14.
Right, let's hand flyer in. My controls. Rijeka traffic. Air Serbia 290 Romeo is at final approach speed 3 miles. It's okay, Musty. It's pretty average. There are nice elements to it, but the weird kind of static in the airfield. I think it's meant to be a Tupolev, but it's a default A320 in the Airbus house skin. It's a little bit weird. There's things like that that they could have maybe not done. Anyway, silent last few seconds. There's an Amazon van flying down the road. I guarantee they're coming to this house, which is really bad timing. So Captain Woofer is probably going to be giving us our minimum calls in a minute. I think that's a lack of optimization, Musty, to be honest. Oh, look at that. Wow. Getting distracted here by the scenery. That's spectacular. Right. get back on profile a bit more, shall we? A little bit high.
500.
Wind's just snapped round slightly to another crosswind.
Minimum. Minimum.
Continue.
200. 100.
Looking ahead.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Remember, you can't flare this that much. Happy days. Frozen, I hope not. Alright, let's vacate here. There's the touchdown, 1.11G in the touchdown zone. Looks like bang on the centre line as well, so I'm very happy with that. 162 foot per minute. Good stuff. There's the windsock, look, that crosswind. Look at the atmospherics as well, wow. Really cool. Just got to remember as well, we've got to leave the throttles just above idle. Just a teeny weeny bit. Put gust lock on. Running lights. And Rijeka traffic, Air Serbia 290 Romeo, runway vacated.
And traffic, Osprey 6476, fully established ILS 114.
Surveillance, standby. We want stand 3, right? Yeah, gate 3. Oh, which I think that KLM's parked at. Oh, Chuffineck it has. Alright, different plan. Change facility. Pat 2, follow me. That's better. We don't need to follow me though, because it's right here. Taxi lights off. Landing lights. Master caution clear. Fuel dampers off. We'll turn on in. Lots of failures there. Just need to keep it above idle. Keep the momentum for the turn. Follow me aborted for safety reasons. Get out of the bloody way then. First time I've had that come up. There we are, no brakes. She wants to stop. Don't do this to me. Jolly good. Keep a rolling. Crikey. Oh, is this touch parking? Right. Park brakes set.
Rijeka traffic, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike is downwind, left hand.
Has he landed?
On the ILS runway 14 Zulu, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike.
No, not yet. Wicked. So, oops. Dive in here. Fuel shut off for engine number 1. DC Gen 1 fault, that's fine. Now, prop brake. We'll unguard it. We'll drop this down to the lower level. And prop brake's ready. Green, on. Close guard. Unlock red. Prop brake blue. That's on feather. Tail prop added on the back. wheel chocks, all the doors, and the beacon lights off.
And traffic, Osprey 6476, we are short final runway 14.
So, let's have a little look at New Sky. We'll close the flight. Oh, got a 10, love it. Little profit. And there's our weird little routing for today. You see this weather now that's kind of built it, like starting to render in around the airport, look. Little spots of rain on the bay. That's absolutely stunning. Clear there. How good is that? Oh. Sunset left. Yes. We'll get that in a screenshot with the DC-6 touching down, methinks. It's a long flare, isn't it, with this? You just kind of fly onto the runway. So he's going to touch down about here. Here he is. Through the murk. What a great little sector in the ATR. Lots of rust to knock off. Rab, very exciting. Keep smashing the like button, folks, if you've enjoyed today's live stream and you forgot to give us a little thumbs up so far already. And if you have, thank you very much. Look at that. What an aircraft. What an incredible bit of engineering. Oh, he touched down firm. Ah, oh, bloody missed it, didn't I? I couldn't click the screenshot button quick enough. There he is.
Rijeka traffic, Osprey 270, Unit Mike, stuck just on S1 14 Zulu. Rijeka traffic.
Pyroblaster, no, I'm not flying again, buddy.
Rijeka traffic, Osprey 6476, vacated runway 14.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. No guts, no glory. Sounds like the Osprey motto.
Passengers bus is coming.
Fantastic. What have we got here? We've got a tower. Oh. Oh, but then it bops us out. Here we are, John's inbound. Suitable music. Roy, have a good one. We'll watch John's touchdown, and then I'll have to head off and have an argument with an insurance company, which is rather frustrating. I also need to know what package that is on my doorstep. What does it say? This way up. Live plants. Oh, brilliant. What has the missus been ordering? I was hoping it was my motorcycle trousers.
Passengers deboarding started.
How good does that look, though? From the tower. Oh, very nice. Take a couple of screenshots briefly. Love that, look at that. Such a wicked aeroplane. Douglas. What's that? What's that TikTok meme? With the Bentley. Or is it Bentley? Yeah. Oh, UD, there's been a few moments where I've kind of looked at it thinking I would be, certainly if it was VR and I had a motion seat, I would be absolutely tricked into believing it was real. He's going to pop out through that any second. That's the one, Sato. Proper like Texan. Douglas. Great video. All the punters almost off our aircraft. Thanks for flying Air Serbia. Look at that now, that rolling ocean fog. That's insane. Actually sweeping all the way across the bay towards the town, look, load of sea fog. That's just remarkable. So cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 will bring us, and what's that, about 9 months away roughly, if we were to throw a guess out for its release. Here he comes. John's not flown this in even longer than myself, so he's been learning with a big steep learning curve. We'll see how he can pull off his touchdown. Don't forget your landing gear. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine.
Do you want to deboard crew?
Not now. The atmospherics are insane. Look at that visibility now. It's dropped right behind him.
And Rijeka traffic Osprey 2472 is turning downwind for runway 14, Reykjavik.
Reykjavik?
Traffic.
Close.
Osprey 27 Juliet Mike, short final, runway 14.
If any of you want to follow like
It was
real
close.
aviation content, by the way, John, who's on this approach now, he flies the he runs the alternative BHX website. Loads of plane spotting stuff around Birmingham Airport. Give him a little search. There we go, lovely. Great little touchdown. It's the FSLTL ATL model as well. There we are. I'm going to stay online on VATSIM just for a few minutes while we wait for Ian to pop up. Obviously, we wait for Ian to land, but I'm off to argue with an insurance company. I can't really delay that much more. We'll have to deal with that rather nasty email they've sent, and a letter that no doubt will arrive in the post tomorrow with the same threats. I look forward to that. Thank you very much for flying along, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this route today out of Belgrade to beautiful Rijeka. Look how fantastic that is in the world update. It's just stunning.
Traffic, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike.
I'm going to grab a screenshot of that actually as well.
Gotcha.
Traffic.
That's insane. Insane. In the meantime, as always, a massive thank you for watching. All of you guys, channel members, bronze, silver, gold, really appreciate all your support. If you are one of our channel members and you haven't synced your Discord user account with your YouTube account in our Discord server to get access to that club lounge, then today's the day to do that. So make sure you tick that off your list of things to do. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the day, and I look forward to planning the next live stream over the next week or so, possibly next Tuesday. If not, I'm aiming for Saturday, but we're likely to be trying to fly the Ryanair 737-800 on one of their services out of London Stansted to Bucharest Otopeni in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But enjoy the rest of the week ahead, folks, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Great luck, boys. I'll see you around. Bentley? No, Googles.